bring Max Verstappen more and more as it became obvious what a talent Max Verstappen was and still is. Sorry, I have to go again, don't worry, but yeah, what was I saying? As for Sergio Perez, well, I mean, he's got a lot of money in his pocket. He's a great marketing asset. A great marketing asset in Mexico. Hence why he's got an outright 2-year contract extension instead of a 1+1, because I honestly think the amount of money that Sergio Perez is bringing to Red Bull must be worth at least £50 million in British money, or which is the equivalent of about 80 million US dollars, or at least 70 million euros, depending on where you come from. Like, I mean, you got to realize, of course, in the cost cap era, and the fact, of course, Red Bull are having to spend a fair bit of money on keeping their junior RB team in the sport, Sergio Perez pays the bills. And whilst, yeah, his performances of recently, such as, of course, qualifying 18th for the last Monaco Grand Prix, are not exactly desirable, Perez does have a habit of being pretty decent when the car is gone. But, of course, and whilst it is my opinion that Valtteri Bottas was and still is a better driver than what Sergio Perez is, because let's be honest, Bottas at the very least could qualify in the top 5 on a consistent basis when he drove a Mercedes. Perez does have the added bonus of being a pay driver compared to someone like Valtteri Bottas. I mean, and I think it's pretty safe to say that Sergio Perez has got a very good relationship with the Red Bull upper management. That's all I'm going to say, because how else is he going to get, was it 6 years in total at Red Bull? Like, his stint at Red Bull as their number 2 driver is now going to officially last longer than what Kimi had in his second stint at Ferrari, and of course what Bottas had at Mercedes, which blows my mind because, of course, compared to those two, I mean, Perez is definitely the worst out of the 3. And look, I don't know. I mean, I think I've pretty much explained how on earth Perez has managed to get such a big extension when arguably he's not really the one to continue. And I have to say, as a Gasly and an Albon fan, this does really tick me off, because when you consider Gasly was only given 6 months and Albon only had 18 months to prove himself, and both of them got flung out the door. But I think their lack of experience meant that, understandably, they needed an experienced number 2 driver to help Max out, which, of course, Perez has done successfully in his first 2 years when he's been there. But for the past 18 months, I think it's become a bit increasingly obvious that Perez is no longer required. But, of course, in terms of Red Bull junior drivers, Tsunoda just doesn't look like he has a future ever heading towards the senior team. And I have predicted he will probably end up at Aston Martin eventually. Daniel Ricciardo, enough said. Like, dude, that guy is done. That guy is so off the pace compared to Tsunoda. Like, half a second slower consistently in qualifying. Always 4 or 5 places behind Tsunoda. I mean, do I need to explain why on earth someone like Tsunoda is not going to be at, or Ricciardo is not going to be at Red Bull in the future? I don't really think I need to go too far, especially Ricciardo. Like, he's now 35 years old. To be honest, he's been very lucky to be given a second chance by Christian Horner, but yeah. Then, as for Perez, well, he has about, how many race wins has he got? I think he's won 5 races in the 3.5 years he's been at Red Bull, which is okay, but not amazing to say the least, which is, I mean, compared to Bottas, I mean, Bottas won, 10 races in 5 years, so it is a tad disappointing, if I'm going to be truly honest with Perez. But then we have to remember Max Verstappen, especially last year, has been ridiculously dominant in terms of his pace and form. And in terms of pure pace, I mean, Max Verstappen had that race at Miami last year where he started ninth, but then quickly